I spent a day at IKEA to finally make my tiny Beijing apartment feel like home. Stay with me if you want to see how a girl living alone and sharing an apartment turns a cramped space into a comfortable little world, one small fix at a time. Before we start, I really want to know, do you have IKEA in your city? And where are you watching from? Please share in the comments. It means a lot to me. I've been living in this little apartment for over a year now. It's a shared place, and for the longest time, I've just been making do. Squeezing my things into corners, putting up with the dim light in the dining area, a messy kitchen that gets greasy no matter how often I wipe it, and a pillow that should have been thrown out months ago. You know that feeling? When you tell yourself you'll fix something next week, but then a whole year goes by. I finally decided enough. Today is the day I stop making do and start making it feel like home. So I'm going to IKEA. I need to buy some things that will actually make my daily life easier and more comfortable. But before I leave, I need a plan. First, I walk around the apartment and take measurements. I measure the spot above the kitchen counter where I want to put a shelf. I check the width of the bathroom corner. I look at the dining table and the light above it. Everything goes into a memo on my phone. I've been ignoring so many little problems for so long that writing them down feels like finally admitting they exist. I think it's really a nice habit for me to make some plans before I go shopping because I can find the products I really want in a quick way. And this is what I need: a seasonal shelf and 2 shelves for my bathroom, a big carpet, and a kettle. And it's around 5 o'clock already, so let's go. The weather forecast said it might rain, so I decided to take a taxi instead of riding my scooter. The IKEA here is enormous. 3 floors of showrooms and a warehouse section. It has a very full selection, and I'm pretty sure I can find everything on my list. The taxi drops me off at the entrance, and I grab a bag and a cart. I start on the 3rd floor, in the furniture area. Right at the entrance are pillows. That's when I remember my pillow is years old. It's flat in the middle and lumpy on the side, and maybe, just maybe, that's why my sleep has been so bad. I walk over and start testing them. Some are soft, some are firm, some are high, and some are low. Do you like your pillow high or low? I actually prefer a high one, something that supports my neck. After trying a few, I find one that feels right. Into the cart. That's the best thing about shopping in person, honestly. You can touch things, sit on them, open and close drawers. What I end up buying fits me so much better than anything I could guess from a phone screen. Then I start looking for the other things on my list. I need something for my spaces. I love to cook, and I have way too many spaces. I found a small spice rack, but the storage space was too small. My bottles will never fit in there. So I keep looking. It's okay to be picky when you are fixing something that's bothered you for months. I pick up some cleaning supplies next. Different colors for different levels of dirt. A stronger spray for the kitchen, a gentle one for surfaces. I'm not a cleaning expert, but I know that one rag can't do everything. Then I walk to the bathroom area and find a shelf that's just right. It fits the corner perfectly. Add it to the cart. I also look at some rugs. I've been wanting a new one for my bedroom, something soft under my feet in the morning. But the ones here are really expensive, around 5 or 600 yuan, about $70 to $83. The one I'm using now, which I bought online, only cost 50 or 60 yuan. That's under $10. That's like 1/10 of the price. The quality difference doesn't seem 10 times better to me. So I decided to buy a rug online later. The fake flowers here are shockingly realistic. I stopped and stared for a while. I really wanted to buy some, but my hands were already too full, and I still had more to carry. Maybe next time. By the time I reached the checkout, my cart is completely packed. Some things weren't on my original list, like the pillow and a few extra storage boxes, but honestly, every one of them felt necessary. At checkout, the total came to a little over 400 yuan, around $55. I won't lie, it made me pause for a second. But then I thought about how many months I'd been annoyed by those little problems. Spending that money to make daily life smoother? Totally worth it. I swiped my phone and paid. After all that walking, I was getting hungry. I went to the restaurant inside IKEA. The environment was really nice. Desserts and salads are self-serve, but hot food has to be picked up separately from the counter. I got the classic Swedish meatballs with mashed potatoes and lingonberry jam, a black pepper beef rice, and an apple pie for later. I found a table near the window and sat down. It was so good. The meatballs were tender, the sauce rich, the jam sweet and tart at the same time. I finished everything. Finally, let's end this shopping trip with an ice cream. I got an avocado flavor, only 3 yuan, under $half. It was creamy and light, the perfect little reward after hours of walking. When you eat ice cream, do you eat the cone at the bottom? I usually do. There's something satisfying about the crunchy end. I carried my heavy bags out to the taxi and up to the 5th floor of my building. My cat was already waiting for me at the door. I set the bag down and gave him a scratch behind the ears. I don't just want to make this home warm and comfortable for myself, I want my cat to have a good living space too. So I'm home now and I got so many stuffs from IKEA. I got a shelf in the kitchen for the seasonings and a bowl to make my salad and a brand new pan and some pads for the pan. And I also got 2 storage boxes. It's for my bathroom and an LED lantern. It's for my dining room. You can see it's a little bit dark here, so I replaced the lantern. And I got a kettle to water my flowers, a new pillow, and also some cleaning stuffs. So I'll start my reorganization very soon. Before I show you the transformation, let me first show you what these spots looked like before. Some of them are a little embarrassing, but I want you to see the difference, so stick around till the end. First, I start with the dining area. I bought a high-power light bulb. The old one was so dim. Sometimes I couldn't see what I was eating. Shadows everywhere. I unscrewed the old bulb, screwed in the new one, and flipped the switch. Instantly brighter. It's amazing how a single light bulb can change the mood of the whole room. After changing it, the space felt warmer and more alive. Then I moved to the kitchen. This is the big one. I cook a lot, so the counter and the area behind the stove get greasy so quickly. I fill a bowl with warm water and dish soap, dip my clothes, and start wiping. After that, I tackle the spice bottles. This is one of those jobs I always avoid because it's tedious. But I put on a podcast and start wiping each one individually. The bottles are glass, some of them covered in a thin film of old oil and dust. One by one, they go from dull to clear. Then I place them in order on the new spice rack. I decide to arrange them by how often I use them, salt and soy sauce in front, less common spices in the back. When everything is organized, the whole area looks brand new. I step back and just look at it for a moment. It's such a small change, but it makes the kitchen feel like a place I want to cook in again. The stove knobs look like they hadn't been cleaned in years. Grease and dust had hardened into the dark crust around the edges. Every time I cooked, I kept thinking like, one day I'll clean you. Well, today was that day. I took a rag and dipped it in a cleaning solution, then scrub around each knob. The black grime started to loosen. It took longer than I'd expected, but the result was so satisfying. They actually look like they belong on a stove now. In China, plastic bags usually cost 0.5 to 1 yuan, about 7 to 14 cents, at the supermarket. So I have a habit of saving them and reusing them as trash bags. I keep them in a little bag behind the door. It's not fancy, but it's practical and saves a little money. When I finish cleaning, I use one of those saved bags to collect all the trash. Finally, I washed the dishes and gave the sink a good scrub until it shined. Some stains had been there so long they were really hard to remove, especially around the faucet. But I tried my best. When I was done, the sink looked so much better. After putting the dishes away, I wanted to use my new frying pan to make tomorrow's lunch. I'd been thinking about it the whole way home. I've gained a little weight recently. Not a lot, but enough that my jeans feel different. So I'm going to make myself a healthy meal. I take a chicken breast and cut it into chunks. Then marinate it with soy sauce and some seasonings powder. I cut 2 chili peppers and mix them with vinegar and a little garlic to make a sauce. Then I heat the new pan. Since I live alone, I don't need a big pot or pan. Practical and light is best. This pan is just right for one person. I like my meat a little more fried and crispy, so I cook it a bit longer, letting the edges brown. The smell fills the kitchen. It's simple, but it's healthy and made by my own hands. At the end, I put everything into a bowl. cover it, and put it in the fridge. Tomorrow's lunch is ready. That's one less thing to think about. Then I start on the bathroom. This is another space that's been quietly bothering me. Every time I do my makeup, I spend forever looking for things: a lipstick buried under cotton pads, a brush wedged behind a box. So I take everything out of the cabinet and start sorting. I bought 2 boxes and I group my makeup by type: lip products and brushes in the small one, others in the bigger. Then I organize the storage space, putting the things I use most within easy reach. I clean the sink, the toilet, and the floor. My roommate doesn't make the bathroom super messy, but most of the cleaning still falls on me. I don't mind. I like knowing it's clean. I scrub the sink until it shines, wipe the mirror, mop the floor. The whole room feels fresher, brighter, calmer. Next, the bedroom. If you have a cat, you will understand this. I only stop using my tablet for a few days and look at all this cat hair on it. It's like a thin layer of fur. I wipe it down with a soft cloth and remind myself to close the cover when I'm not using it. This little corner of my room is my favorite. It has my bottles, my small decorations, things that make me happy. And then I noticed something else. The cat food bag has a tear in it. My cat must have clawed it open at some point. And I never even realized. I checked the food inside. Still okay, thankfully. I found a container and poured the food into it. Problem solved. The cat climbing frame also hadn't been cleaned in a long time. It's covered in dust because my cat has never used it once since I bought it. I bought it thinking he'd love it, but of course he prefers cardboard boxes. I wipe it down anyway. Maybe one day he'll change his mind. My pillow had been used for way too long. It was flat in the middle and the fabric was starting to peel. I think my bed sleep might have something to do with it. So I decided to try the new pillow tonight. I pulled the old one out of its blanket, folded it, and put it below. I'll keep it as a backup or maybe use it for back support on the sofa. The new pillow goes on the bed, plump and fresh. I also cleaned my bed sheets. Because the cat sleeps on the bed with me, I have to use a dust mite remover regularly. I run it over the sheets and pillowcases Then I changed the sheets to a clean set. Finally, I threw away the old cup I used to water my plants. It was from a coffee shop, and used the new watering can instead. I water my plants one by one, watching the water soak into the soil. A little green life in the corner of my room. When I'm done, I step back and look around. The apartment feels different now. Not because I bought expensive things or did a complete renovation, but because I finally fixed the small problems that had been piling up for months. The dim light is bright, the greasy kitchen is clean, the spices are organized, the bathroom is fresh, my bed is soft and new. These are small things, but they add up to something much bigger. Living alone or sharing a small apartment has taught me one of the most important lessons I know. You have to treat yourself well. You have to notice the dim light, the messy shelf, the flat pillow, and actually do something about it. It's not about spending a lot of money or making everything perfect. It's about saying to yourself, I deserve a home that feels good to come back to. So, wherever you are tonight, maybe there's one small thing in your room that's been bothering you for weeks or months. A broken drawer, a dim bulb, a pillow that lost its shape, a pile of clutter you keep walking past. Maybe it's time to fix it. Not because you have to, but because you're worth it. Because you deserve to live in space that feels like you. Please don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see me do next. I'm Jianing. Thanks for spending the day with me. Good night.